ready. Ready to move. What's up, mama? Is today the day? I don't know. Think we can do this one-handed, dude? Nope. All right, good morning, grazers. Sorry about that shaky video. I think it's time for me to get a GoPro or something. Something that's a little easier to hang on to or has a bunch of different mounts on it that I can put anywhere. Quick video this morning. Look at that difference. I just wanted to show real quick what I've been doing for the last couple days to try and control the explosion of grass as well as weeds. So, I mean, you would have thought that I came through here with a brush hog. They are normally getting about 2,000 square feet twice a day. So 4,000 square feet, that's kind of what I've decided is working for me this spring. But what was happening is by the time we got, I mean, obviously, again, some of you know this, but we started way down there on that end and have been moving our way to the west here. And as you can see, some of this stuff was just, I mean, it's crazy tall. It's crazy mature. I mean, some of this stuff is up to my waist. So we're talking 3, even 4 feet tall. Some of it's hitting my chest. A lot of the orchard grass, right? Which we all know orchard grass explodes very early. So a lot of this orchard grass has taken off. It's gotten very mature. And not only am I wanting to kind of set some of this stuff back, I mean, this looks like a tall grass prairie out here, which is great to see. You know, I do love the fact that it's protecting the soil. It's giving a good spring environment for some of those ground nesting birds to hopefully get a clutch, you know, a clutch off the ground here. But at the same time, I don't want to lose my nutritious grazing for the rest of the year. And there is some correlation between grass that goes to seed really early, set seed, fully matures, and then dies and dries out, basically, that even if it's clipped, even if it's mowed, even if it's grazed, whatever, you do get some regrowth on it, but it's never going to be the same palatability and nutritional profile as perennial grass that has stayed in that phase 2 curve, that area of the growth right before it hits boot, right before it throws up a seed head, and then is grazed back or clipped back and started regrowing again. That's the grazer's dream. That's the target, the most nutritious point in that plant's life cycle that you want to keep hitting. You want to hit that reset button. It gets to that point, you graze it, you clip it, hits that reset button, comes back, gets that same point. So anyway, yeah, we got the really wet spring and the late start to grazing has really delayed how quickly we got through this pasture. And honestly, you know, I could have moved the cows through this pasture a lot faster. You know, we could have done 2,500 to 3,000 square feet per move. But I did open them up for a few days just to see how it was, and they were leaving a lot. It was at the point to where there was too much selection to where they could go around, eat everything they wanted, as in the stuff that wasn't mature yet or wasn't getting close to being mature, and not go after the stuff that maybe they really didn't want to eat or that was starting to get a little mature. They were just leaving too much, and I felt like too much was still going to be getting mature and going to seed. So by really tightening them down, not only does that get that hoof action to really make an impact on the land, but it creates competition. So the cows now can't really just wander and look for their favorite stuff to eat and the good stuff to eat. They're gonna just start grabbing bites of everything because there's not enough room for all of them to browse. We got to this area of the pasture that is always notorious for being extremely weedy and extremely overgrown just because of this little grove of trees here. It's able to hang on to moisture. It's able to, you know, have the shade, and so the grass really explodes. So something I wanted to try that in the years past I have tried, I just never can find them so tight. And as you can see, I mean, I really should have taken a before video. It did look, obviously it looked a lot like this ahead of us with a lot of these broadleaf weeds. You know, again, a lot of over mature grass. I mean, just picture this on the other side of the fence here, more grass. You know, obviously this over here never gets mowed, never gets grazed, so the weeds have taken over. But picture this with all these broadleaf weeds with a good amount of grass also shooting through. That's what this side looked like. The other thing I was excited to see is these calves have really been picking up on eating everything. You know, we're going on about 40 days old for these calves, and not only are they grazing really, really well, but they're excited to eat tree leaves. I've been watching them, you know, eat some of these weeds, some of this pokey stuff that you wouldn't think a cow would eat. They're already going for it just because they're seeing their herd mates do it. Something else too is around this little ditch line, you couldn't see in there, let alone walk through it. You couldn't come up to it and see that there were, you know, we've got some logs down in here and you know, some other stuff, concrete. You couldn't see that at all. So they almost acted like goats in this area and really cleaned this up. People pay to have goats come out to do this kind of land management and clearing around the areas. And heck, give Dexter's a try. Maybe that should be my new market, my new angle. A small herd of traveling Dexters that goes around. The other thing too that I really wanted them to attack was the weeds. And we have a lot of it in here. This is all just weeds. What's up, bud? Wouldn't be a video without you coming over here. So the weeds obviously encroach across the fence line. They're coming over here. So very, very weedy area. But, you know, weeds are very nutritious. They usually have deep tap roots. They have a completely different mineral profile than a lot of the grasses. And so the cows actually enjoy eating them. I wanted to see how much of the weeds that they would clean up. And man, did they ever. I found an autumn olive in here that I was hoping that they would just trample into the ground. Let's see if I can find it. I was hoping they would just trample it in. Oh, there it is. I was hoping they'd trample this into the ground. But coming over here, would you look at that? It is actually eaten off very low. That's awesome. Who needs sheep, right? Just get some Dexters. I'm really curious to see how this is going to regrow because I hit it pretty hard. This was about 1,000 square feet per move. So they were getting half of the amount of space that they normally get when I move them. So I was really pushing them, and I gave them 2,000 square feet this morning, and I'm going to give them 2,000 square feet this afternoon just to kind of open them back up a little bit, let them get nice full bellies. There was no bellering, there was no yelling at me when I'd come down in the morning. So to me, that let me know that they actually were getting enough to eat even at 1,000 square feet, but they were very pushy. They wanted to move quickly, and I even noticed a couple of sunken in rumens this morning when I came down. So that kind of lets me know that they're right on the border. We still have one cow to calve. She should be any day now, hopefully even today or tomorrow. Obviously we're still nursing, so I want to make sure I don't push the girls too hard, and they're doing what I wanted them to do. Let's talk real quick. Not only are they grazing, but they're trampling a lot of this stuff down. So a lot of the really tall, seedy orchard grass and stuff like that, they've laid that over. They've covered the soil. The key here is to give this its recovery, to give this its rest. You know, we're not going to be back on here after we finish this pasture, and depending on where I'm at in my schedule, we're either going to go on the 4 acres next door, or we're going to swing back over to this. This was the spring lockup area. So this whole little quarter of a pasture here was where I had the cows during the early spring when we weren't ready to graze yet. that they really beat up, but this stuff has exploded back. Awesome. All right, guys, questions, comments, sarcastic remarks, you know the drill, shoot them my way. And we will talk to you guys later. Hopefully the next video will be number 1 over there with her brand new calf. So keep an eye out for that. All right, see ya.